Hey everybody, Pastor Josh here, and this is the weekly update for Redeeming Grace Church. It's July 7th of 2022, a Thursday. This update is coming out a lot later in the week than it normally does. That's because it's just been a super busy week for me. We had block parties all week. July 4th, we continued our tradition of having a July 4th block party. So many of you came and helped staff the thing, which I was so encouraged by. I was really nervous because I just didn't get a lot of response from you guys ahead of time. I was concerned I was going to need to be running this all by myself, but you guys stepped up. We had just the right number of people, and we had about 120 or so people that were here and came to the block party from the neighborhood. Lydia and I just walked around with flyers once the block party started, and it was super easy to get people to come. I've never seen the level of openness and receptivity to an invite ever. I've done a lot of block parties. I've done a lot of door-to-door stuff. I've never seen this kind of responsiveness in mass, and so really grateful for that. The mission team that was led by Josh Trapp, Hannah Trapp's older brother from Trails and Ranch, they brought 6 high school students, 2 adults, and they essentially ran the logistics of the block parties on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm so grateful they did. They did an awesome job. I'm really proud of Josh. He went from being this squirrely little middle schooler in my ministry years ago to now a full-grown man who's leading in full-time ministry. I'm so proud of him. He did such a great job. That team was excellent. Some of the best student workers I've seen, and they did an excellent job. And they were really impacted by the ministry of our church, the conversations they were seeing me have, and just the kindness of the people. They went out and handed out flyers in the neighborhood, just knocking on doors, and were impacted by that. And then when people came, they said every single person, it just went over and above in expressing gratitude. What we noticed is that the people who came the first night, 120, we had about 90 to 100 the second night. About half of those were repeats. And then on Wednesday, we had another 90 to 100 people, and about half of those were repeats, and some of them all 3 nights. And what we found is that not only were they super grateful and super open to conversation. I had lots of gospel conversations, lots of church conversations, but also it became pretty clear that a lot of them are struggling financially, and some of them were having to choose between whether or not to buy food or gas. And the fact that they could come and essentially get 3 meals from us at no charge to them they were just beyond grateful, and they expressed that a lot. And so I'm really grateful for that, and that we just are continuing to try to funnel them into also our neighborhood breakfast on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday at the Mount Luzon Senior Center. I would encourage you to come meet some of these people. Many of them have expressed an interest in engaging in the church and coming on Sunday. We'll see if they do. I've been at this long enough to know that people say things all the time and don't follow through. But it really did seem like many of them are going to attempt to connect with us because of our graciousness and kindness. Their good experience with us so far brought them back night after night. And hopefully we'll get another opportunity to minister to them and others on Saturday morning. And then hopefully they'll come on a Sunday morning and get to hear the gospel and worship with us. And it will be wonderful that hopefully many of them see faces they recognize and people they've talked to, and get to hear a message from a guy that spent many conversations with them here. So pray for that. Pray for fruit from this. I'm really grateful. I'm really impressed with the team. I'm really impressed with the opportunities that we've had, and just the unbelievable openness. I've been getting texts all day from people who just got my phone number yesterday and the day before that want to talk about baptism and want to talk about what it looks like to be in ministry and when does church start. And I've just never experienced that before. So praise God for the work of his hand. Let's continue to pray that this becomes lasting fruit and not just an exciting week. So again, like I mentioned, neighborhood breakfast, come then. We also are planning a church picnic after Sunday worship this Sunday at Canyon Lake Park. We've got a picnic shelter reserved, and so we encourage you to, once we get done with service, to help us pack things up, and then we'll go and enjoy some fellowship together. And if some of these folks that came from the block parties shows up, let's invite them to go with, and a lot of them may need rides, and so just be willing to open up a seat in your car or make a couple trips in order for these people to meet some Christians, like actually get to experience the grace and love of Christ through his people, through hospitality and fellowship and connection and conversation. So be ready for that, both at the breakfast on Saturday and picnic on Sunday. One other thing that I did this week is meet with Freeway. We have approved as a church to sponsor one of their discipleship houses, which helps women coming out of drug addictions. They sign up for a 1-year program, which is like Jesus Boot Camp. It's a 24/7 discipleship program to help them get clean, to help them get the job skills and get on their feet, and most importantly, come to know Christ and grow in Him and be a solid disciple of Jesus Christ. So the discipleship house that we're a part of is just a couple blocks from our church. I met with Freeway. I'm really impressed with their codes of conduct, their discipleship process, the schedule that they've put these ladies through. And Tuesday night, a bunch of those ladies came to our block party. You can see pictures of it on Facebook from Freeway Ministries. They brought their ladies to our block party, and we had a wonderful time with them. 2 of them just got their kids back from custody the day of the block party. And so the very first thing they did with their kids is come to our church's block party, got their face painted. And I was one of the first people that they got to celebrate with, that I got my kid back. I've gotten my life clean. The state has allowed me to take my kid back. And so what a wonderful thing that is, and what a great opportunity to do ministry in cooperation with them. And for us to already begin to do that, I was just very grateful that I got to be an eyewitness to that. Other people who are involved in ministry here locally also drop by our block party, have interest in partnering with us in community ministry to help get the gospel to people and help them out of certain situations and brokenness. And so that means that all of us are going to have to give a little bit more of our time, that if we really want to do ministry and move just beyond the idea of ministry to actually doing ministry, then we're going to have to open up a whole lot more of our lives to people. And that starts with things like block parties and breakfasts and picnics, and moves on to watching kids and doing grocery runs and being willing to be a designated driver and those kinds of things. That if we're going to get into this space, if we're going to do the kind of ministry that is required here, then we're going to have to ask the Lord to send out workers, and then we're going to have to be willing to have the margin in our lives and the willingness to engage in these kinds of ministries. So just be prepared for that. The Las Vegas mission trip went well. They're back, they're safe, and I'm going to ask them to share at the prayer meeting at 9:15 on Sunday. So if you're that, I have not let them know this, but I'm going to tell them that I'd like them to be there. So if you'd like to hear a little bit of firsthand testimony of that mission trip, come at 9:15 for our prayer meeting on Sunday morning, and we'll have them share, and then we'll just pray for that work to bear fruit, and for the ministry that they got to do to flourish. And so be ready for that. The last thing is that next week, I'm going to be planning to go down and help at least some of the days next week with some ministry on the reservation with Chankuwasti camp. And so they're a little bit short-staffed, and they need some help with some of their day camps. And Justin is going to be preaching the next Sunday. So I have a little bit of freedom. My boys are going off to youth camp. Bree is going to take the girls, and they're going to visit her parents. So I have some freedom next week to go, and I'm going to go spend at least some of my time down there, getting to know their ministry, helping learn a little bit about what reservation ministry looks like, and see if there might be some things we can learn from the ways they do ministry among Native peoples. And then also maybe there would be some ways that we would want to partner with them in some of the challenging but necessary work that they have going on the reservation. So just be aware that I'm gonna keep going hard after some intense ministry next week. And so you can be praying for me, but then also if you want to schedule a meeting with me, we might have to work around a little bit of what I'm going to be traveling down to do there. So really grateful for all of the ministry that we get to do together. I didn't even mention the Black Hills Baptist Association that I just got out of a meeting with, and how we help cooperate with the other 25 churches in our association to help churches without pastors, help churches get healthy. We have a meeting together here on July 25th. You could come if you'd like. And we're just trying to work together to help each other do ministry well. And a lot of our guys have done pulpit supply in churches that don't have pastors. Scott has done that. Gary did that while he was here. Bob is doing that down in Hot Springs. Canyon has done that. Justin. And so we have a reputation as being a church that isn't just about building our own little kingdom and our own little healthy church, but that we're interested in seeing Christianity flourish across our association of churches, and we're willing to put our money where our mouth is. In fact, I host a once a month pastor's lunch here just to keep pastors encouraged and for us to bear each other's burdens. And I just do that out of the goodness of my own heart and my own desire for pastoral fellowship. And so that has been neat to see pastors cooperating together. So there is so much good work that's happening. You just see a little tip of the iceberg of what we're involved in and the kinds of ministry that I'm getting my hands into. And I'm thankful that you allow me to do a lot of freelance ministry like this. And I would love for you to be a part of as much of it as you'd like. The Lord is really working. He's blessing our church. He's blessing our ministry. He's blessing your pastor and our members. And may we just continue to push forward in the goodness of God and the mission that He has put in front of us, and enjoying, displaying, and sharing His redeeming grace with the world. I love you. Hope to see you Saturday at the breakfast or Sunday at church or the picnic. And let me know if there's any way I can serve you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.